Hello everyone, this is Shankar. Hope you are doing well. So in this video, I will explain about what is retention in Apache Kafka. So in this video, I will explain about what is retention in Apache Kafka. So let's get started. So once theory points are done, I will go inside the Kafka installation folders and I will show where this retention configurations are there. So today our topic is what is retention in Apache Kafka retention. So answer Kafka supports data retention. Data Kafka supports data retention. So Kafka supports data retention. That means which means which means which means messages are not deleted deleted immediately after consumers read them. So what is retention in Apache Kafka? Kafka supports data retention, which means messages are not deleted immediately after consumers consumers read them. See, it is very important. We need to understand what is retention in Apache Kafka. What is retention in Apache Kafka? Kafka supports data retention, which means messages are not deleted immediately after consumers read them. So, after consumers read them, then what will happen? So, consumer, so suppose publishes messages to Kafka topic. So, in Kafka topic, segments store are there, log segments will be there. Their messages will be stored. After that, consumer subscribes messages that it will be read them. So after read, what happened? So how long it will be stored? How much data will be stored in each log segment? These are I will explain in this video. So let's understand about traditional message queues and so modern like point to point messaging systems, publish and subscribe messaging systems. Based on that, I will give two examples, right? So in in traditional traditional messaging in traditional messaging systems, producer better like change to publisher publisher queue publisher queue subscriber. So one application sending messages to queue, another application receive the messages at same application itself in one class sending the messages, another class subscribing the messages. So it is the point to point messaging communications. There is a queue like one message equal to one consumer or one publisher equal to one subscriber like that. See, once the consumer see once the consumer reads a message once a consumer reads a message, it is often removed removed from the queue. So this is applicable for traditional. That means so 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 here suppose active MQ. This is the traditional or old messaging queue, right? So in traditional messaging systems, publisher, subscriber between queue. Right? Once message is subscribed, then that message will be removed from the queue. See, once the consumer reads a message, it is often removed from the queue. So we need to understand about this. So what is retention rate? A Kafka supports data retention, which means messages are not deleted immediately after consumers read them. So this is for the active MQ. This is applicable for the active MQ. Suppose Apache Kafka. What will happen in Apache Kafka? We will discuss about it. But in Kafka, so publisher. We can also like call it like a producer, but it is more official term like that. Publisher sends messages to topic. So publisher sends messages to topic, right? Topic we can also consider like a so message store, right? So topics we can consider as a message stored, like in topic messages are stored, right? So yeah. Publisher, producer application sends messages to topic. Topic will store the messages. So suppose message stored, messages stored. Where messages stored inside topic, there is a like log segment. Log, log segment. Something like log segment. I will explain in depth about this later video. Log segment. So there will be stored. Right? So message will be stored. Now then what will happen? So suppose assume three consumers are subscribed to that message. So suppose consumer consumer one reads. Suppose one consumer is reading. So consumer hyphen two also reads. After that, so consumer three reads later. So, like consumer one reads done, two is reads done, third consumer three reads. It is reading is done. So here what will happen? The message remains in Kafka for a configured retention retention period even even after it has been consumed, has been consumed, has been consumed. So I will explain this. So here, so in traditional system, once subscriber or consumer consumes it, it will be deleted, right? So up to traditional system is understand, right? In Kafka, so consumer otherwise let's change to subscriber, either consumer or subscriber, subscriber, right? So So one application sends messages to topic, some data to topic. So there inside the topic, messages are stored. So some of other applications are same application subscribes to this topic. So there are three subscribers, or there are three consumers or receivers subscribes to topic. What will happen? So subscriber or consumer one reads it done, consumer two reads it done. Later so consumer 3 reads it is done completed. The message remains in Kafka for a configured retention field. So all consumers, all subscribers are consumers, both are same. So reading is done, but still message will be available in the Kafka topic until retention field. Even it has been consumed. After consumption also it will be available where in Kafka where inside this topic other page I will explain later. So see configured retention field, this configuration I will explain. So once I will give two examples, then I will explain about. I will show this configuration where it will be available. So example. Suppose example one, consumer restart. So consumer restart. Suppose a producer or publisher sends. Suppose publisher. Suppose suppose a producer or publisher sends. Suppose three messages are sent. Order iPhone 101. Order iPhone 102. Order iPhone 103. Three messages. So sent by the producer or publisher. So at 10 a.m. at 10 a.m. So consumer iPhone consumer A read all messages at 11 a.m. at 11 a.m. So consumer iPhone A crashes at 12 p.m. at 12 p.m. consumer A restarts. Then what will happen? Since Kafka since since Kafka still retains, so this retention period still is there, right? So like normally retention period nothing but 7 days. Kafka messages will be there in the topic, right? So since Kafka retention, since Kafka still retains retains the messages, consumer consumer A can continue reading from its last committed offset last committed offset. So it is the one example. So consumer reset. Why? Because after reading the one message, so it will be crossed. Consumer is crossed. So after restarting, it will start where it will be stopped because of still in Kafka messages are available. Why available? Because of configured retention period. It will be 7 day retention field. I will show where it will be configured in Apache Kafka installation folders. I will show there. So another example. So another example. So let's take banking example. Example two. Replay historical 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 data. Replay historical data. Imagine a banking application. Imagine a banking application. So agent on banking application will be there. So there are multiple transactions like agent like ATM transactions in transaction one transaction one. Suppose four transactions are there. Transaction two, transaction three, transaction four. So transaction four. Here a bug is found in the consumer logic. A bug found in the consumer logic. Then after fixing the if major bug almost this. So this transactions subscriptions will be stopped, right? Consumer in a consumer bug is there, so it will stop working it, right? After fixing the bug, so you can reset the consumer offset and reprocess our old messages because Kafka still stores them, stores them, right? See, after fixing the bug, you can reset the consumer offset. I will show how to reset the consumer offset later videos and reprocess all old messages because Kafka still stores them. So this is called message or data replay. So because of retention policy, so data will be available for the 7 days, right? Some MCQ I will ask. So think about it. It is very important. So by default, by default, by default, when Kafka messages deleted from a topic. By default, when are Kafka messages deleted from a topic? When by default messages deleted from the topic inside topic inside log segments will be there. There will be data will be stored, right? So after consumption, after after consumption, it is the wrong one. So after 7 days only. So see after 1 GB only. The after 7 days or when the storage limit is reached. When storage limit is reached. So days. See, by default, when are Kafka messages deleted from a topic. So first I will go through the configuration file, then we will decide what is the right choice. So go to D drive, Apache Kafka config server.properties. So more options. Open with Notepad. So see server basics. One section will be there. Socket server settings. One section will be there. Log basics. One section will be there. Internal topic settings. These are the topic settings. See replication factor. After that, there are so many other. We will discuss these are later. Log flash policy. Log retention policy. So we need what we need. Now we are discussing about log retention policy. So we are discussing about in this video log retention policy. So see the minimum age of a log file to be eligible for deletion due to age. Like this means 7 days. Once message particular message there in topic for 7 days, it is for the eligible for deletion due to age. So see, I will read all this text. The following configurations control the disposal of log segments. Log segments means our data events we are sending to topic, right? Messages, those will be stored in log segments. The policy can be set to delete segments after a period of time. So it is the period of time or after a given size has accumulated. So actually, see, this is the size that means 1 GB, but it is commented. I am not commented by default commented. So that means so there is no size restrictions. Once 1 GB it will be reached, it will be added, new log segment will be added, right? So see, I will repeat one more time this. The following configurations control the disclosure of log segments. In log segment, data will be stored, right? The policy can be set to delete segments after a period of time or after a given size has accumulated. A segment will be deleted whenever either of these criteria are met. Deletion always happens from the end of the log file. So, like, and from the end of the log, that means so post initially A message I send. After that B message I send. After that C message I send. Like that A to Z message I send. So after that, so this retention bytes fill it to 1 GB. Then post it will be deleted by the A. Post I send to A to the topic. So it will be deleted A, right? So this will be the days. This will be the size. A size based retention policy for logs. Segments are pruned from the log unless the remaining segments drop below. Log retention bytes functions independently of log retention hours. So there is no like see functions independently of log retention hours. There is no relationship between days and hours, days and the size, size. So it is independent. It is independent. So it is now it is commented. That means any size will be allowed. So this software configurations itself, it is there in like commented. So the maximum size of a log segment file, when this size is reached, a new log segment will be created. See, it is commented. It is commented. Same one, new one. It is added. It is added. It is so in retention only days will be there. There is no size. Size will be there, but it is commented. That means we cannot consider. So in retention policy, only days will be there. There is no size. So if size is reached to 1 GB, what will happen? It will create new log segment, right? The internal interval at which log segments are checked to see if they can delete it accordingly to the retention policies. Log retention check intervals. So these many milliseconds, it will check retention check intervals continuously. Intervals continuously, it will check what will check the internal at which log segments are checked to see if they can be deleted accordingly to the retention policies. Like for these milliseconds. So it will check any log segment is eligible for deletion. Continuously it will check if yes it will be eligible, it will be deleted. It will be deleted, right? So now I have a one question. Now I have a question like so suppose producer producer sends message to topic. So topic, but consumer due to the busy, it is consuming other topics data. Somehow it is reached to 7 days. So but still consumer not consuming the data. What will happen? In this case, data will be deleted. So Kafka will never wait for the until read it. So Kafka it will never wait for the read it, just it will follow the retention policy rules, log retention policy rules only it will follow. Remember that point. So there is no related retention policy. It is commented. So ignore that. So if segment size is reached, it will add a new segment. That's it. So in this video, we have successfully understand what is retention in Apache Kafka. Thank you for watching. For more videos, please subscribe to this YouTube.